All right. Well, it is 10 o'clock. Good morning. As I was just saying, it's so great to see so many faces today. We thank you for joining with us today. We are very pleased this morning to have presenters from both the U.S. Department of Labor Office and Apprenticeship, Cleveland Williams, and the Vice President of Apprenticeship Carolina for the South Carolina Technical College System, Amanda Richardson. So we're very pleased to have them here and being able to spend some time with us this morning. I know that you all have a lot of questions with regards to apprenticeship. So without further ado, I will go ahead and turn over the floor to our guest presenters. Thank you guys so much for being here today.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much. Good morning, all.
Good morning.
Am I coming across?
I can hear you.
Well,
Yes, good morning.
You're fine, sir.
I'm well.
Can
Thank
hear
you all. Amanda, would you like to say something first before I?
Absolutely. So Amanda Richardson, thank you all for having us this morning. We're excited to talk with you a little bit about the things that are going on across South Carolina in terms of teacher education, apprenticeships, and happy to answer some questions that you might have. This time I'll turn it back over to Cleveland. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Perfect.
Well, good morning. My name is Cleveland Williams, and I am from the United States Department of Labor here in South Carolina, the Office of Apprenticeship. And we have the pleasure of serving as a registration agency for any employer, education provider, business association that wants to sponsor a registered apprenticeship. In short, a registered apprenticeship program is a workforce development tool that any one of those sponsors can leverage to train novice into any industry that we have apprenticeable. Roughly about 3 years ago, work was done in Tennessee to make the K through 12 teacher occupation become apprenticeable. The Office of Apprenticeship, the USDO goal is never to compete with any certifying bodies for any industry. We just want to allow sponsors to leverage the process of supervised on-the-job training with technical related instruction to try to generate the skills necessary for individuals to meet the certification requirements, if it could be a benefit to that industry. So that work was done in Tennessee, and then we subsequently last year, I think in Nebraska, had the work done for the K through 12 teacher principalship as well. I think sometime in early 2022, I had the pleasure of meeting Dr. Marla Sanders from Columbia College, and we were able to take their APEC program as it was with a couple tweaks and register it as the first registered apprenticeship program in the state. They've allowed us to speak and at their dean's meetings and share that information and actually contribute at the Center of Excellence Symposium in Greenville earlier this year, and just share how apprenticeship has helped them with their offset pathways to education certification. They currently have over 52 apprentices, and I think 17 of them just completed and now are full-time teachers. So it has been successful for them. And we just want to try to prepare and support anyone else that may seek to try to utilize that model to enhance the output of their teacher programs. At that point, I'll take a break, a pause, and see if there's anything that anybody want to ask, any questions that I can answer more specifically on how. Yes. Reginald Williams, I believe it is.
Yes, let me ask this quick question, sir. How does it work when it comes to applying? You would actually come to our campus and you would have to meet with our dean and meet with our chair, and then we fill out an application. Is there any monetary commitment that we need to have for the school to participate?
Yes, so if the school is participating, you are considered a sponsor if you register apprenticeship program. So you have the overall oversight responsibility for the actual apprentices with whatever school districts you place them with. You would meet periodically. Apprenticeship Carolina, Amanda has a staff, and I don't want to speak incorrectly, but probably about 7 to 9 consultants strategically placed throughout the state that could meet you where you are, provide you the source documents we have as far as the on-the-job training, and couple that with your academic program, or at least a portion of your academic program that's going to support the apprentices. And because you would be sponsoring a program as an academic provider, you would have to have relationships with school districts or schools or employers that could do the supervised on-the-job training portion. So we would prepare the documents of our apprenticeship program, which is deemed a Group 9 joint apprenticeship program, that you could all review, connect, and share that with your participating employer or your school district to get their buy-in that they could provide that portion of it. And when everybody comes to accord that that could happen, we could actually submit it electronically and have all the signatories review and sign, and it become a matter of a permanent apprenticeship program. It's pretty simple in process because we have great partners in Apprenticeship Carolina that come out and do the work for you. They provide you all the resources for your review. I'll put our apprenticeship.gov website in the chat, as well as Apprenticeship Carolina's link in the chat. Which college are you with? Okay, South Carolina State. So Demetrius Smith, I believe, would be your consultant. South Carolina State currently has an apprenticeship program with the USDOL for their cybersecurity, and I think their nursing. So it would be more so that we may have to register one just for the education department, but we definitely can connect with Demetrius Smith and come down. Okay, you don't have nursing anymore.
Thank
Well,
you,
we're
sir. You let
learning
me
in
know
real
how
time.
you let me know how we can contact, because I think this is something for the Department of Education that we're interested in. So, let me know how we can contact Demetrius, and we're probably going to jump on this. I like it.
All right, thanks.
That sounds good. And Cleveland, I'll just mention too to the group. So as Cleveland mentioned earlier, Apprenticeship Carolina has apprenticeship consultants that will come out and help in the design and development stage of the apprenticeship program. We work very closely with Cleveland and the team from DOL Office of Apprenticeships to help formalize that and work with them to get it registered. And then we also have apprenticeship implementation specialists who can help, post-registration process with the implementation of the apprenticeship and provide some technical assistance there. So it's definitely a collaborative effort between our team and Cleveland's team, and just to make sure that you all as an organization have what you need in order for this apprenticeship program to be successful. But what I can do is share with Jackie the apprenticeship consultant map. Our consultants are strategically placed across the state, and this will have their contact information. So Jackie, if you don't mind sharing that with the team, then you all will have your local representative's contact information to reach out directly to them for that development process.
I'd be happy to do that.
Thank you. And I will go ahead and mention, I'm sorry, Jackie. I will go ahead and mention as well, while we're talking about resources, just if you're not familiar with Apprenticeship Carolina, we're actually part of the technical college system here in South Carolina. So we're our own division within the technical college system at the system office that's centrally located in Columbia. We have about 23 staff members total spread out across the state. And just wanted to mention that we have been able to support the educational costs for some of these programs with grant funds that we've received from the U.S. Department of Labor. So wanted to mention that because some of our programs have been able to utilize that. The consultant, when they come out to talk with you about the development of the program, can also make you aware of any funds that might still be available to help support that. But with the Department of Labor funds, any program that we support and those training costs must be part of a registered apprenticeship program. So getting through that that process is very important to being able to capitalize on these other financial resources that we have access to as well. So I wanted to mention that to the group.
And let me apologize again. I guess I didn't go in detail as far as all the components of a registered apprenticeship. That might shed some light on why we started in the alternate pathways for Columbia College, Clemson University, and South Carolina, the University of South Carolina. So I did mention that the supervised on-the-job training. So we're seeking to enhance an individual's theoretical, practical knowledge in an industry by either 2,000, 4,000, 6,000, or 8,000 hours of supervised on-the-job training, and then supplement that with the theoretical knowledge from academic coursework. Currently all education programs, we have our theoretical knowledge, and then we satisfy our practical knowledge in the form of the internship and the student teaching, whether it be in the junior or senior year. My daughter is a senior at USC, and she's actually in her internship process right now. So she's preparing. And, you know, my wife is a teacher, and I remember when we were dating, I met her during her student teaching, and she did that at the actual school on the Air Force Base where I was stationed. So I've seen it in practice for 27 years. But we still have a lot of individuals graduating college and can't pass the practice and fill the vacancies in the state. So that's why I felt that maybe if we utilize apprenticeship, we could, you know, upskill those individuals with those undergraduate degrees in education and help them in the areas that they need to get and become certified. Because I've witnessed my wife conduct interviews with individuals from Guam, Jamaica, to come over to fill teacher vacancies as an assistant principal. I was an aircraft mechanic by trade, so I like fixing things, and I see a broken process, and I was hoping that the apprenticeship system could be utilized. But the third component of registered apprenticeship is that they have to be in a paid position. They have to be a paid employee. So that's why it was difficult to start at the undergrad level, because, you know, it's a part of their education to intern and then do the student teaching, but there's not a livable wage. And hopefully the Commission of Higher Ed, which has talked about the possibility of a living wage stipend for these young individuals in these classrooms during their student teaching and their internship. So we could actually capture that as well, because I was pleasantly pleased when my daughter said she had to do a lesson plan and teach during her internship, because that means that she's getting more theoretical knowledge well ahead of time, before she's in her last semester in front of classes, trying to do lesson planning and teaching for 5 days a week. So she's getting that practical experience a little earlier. So, because ultimately, if she's going to submit or, you know, work after her mother retires in the education system, I want to make sure she's just as prepared. So I guess I'm a little biased about the teacher occupation and being in registered apprenticeship, because if she has a colleague of certified peers, the education for those schools and those individuals would be just that much better. And I just think that registered apprenticeship has proven already that it can work in South Carolina in this industry, and I'm willing to support it however I can. Yes, sir.
So just to make sure I'm clear, Mr. Cleveland, thank you for this presentation. What is the step-by-step process I need to take? I would go and talk to my dean and my chair. What's the first step that we need to take in order to take advantage of this program for us novices?
Well, the first thing is you have the VP of Apprenticeship Carolina, so she can let Demetrius know about this conversation. And if you put your contact information in the chat, he can reach out to you. In the event that you want to move a bit faster, I'm right here in Columbia. I can travel down and we can have a conversation. We work in concert. We don't work in competition. So any work that you do with Demetrius will eventually land with me, or vice versa if I do the work with you. I could if you have time after this meeting, I can walk you through apprenticeship.gov and show you the resources for educators and how that would how your role as an educator and a sponsor would apply, and that'll give you the initial conversation before we can schedule a meeting. If you want to have that conversation before we can, meet within the next, what's today, Wednesday, Thursday, Monday or Tuesday of next week. Sounds good.
And I'll just mention, Reginald, you use the term unique, and this probably is very unique for a lot of you. When you think about registered apprenticeship programs, you probably don't think about teacher education necessarily. You probably think more of your trades, your manufacturing, your welding, those types of industries. But I will say that that's part of the reason and the way that apprenticeship has been so successful here in South Carolina. I mean, there's no doubt that there is a huge need when it comes to workforce. There are certain occupations, certain industries where we have to have workforce, and sometimes that pipeline just isn't there. And so this gives an alternative. It gives another way to help train up individuals and prepare them for certain occupations. But the reason we've been so successful here in South Carolina is we have ventured outside of those traditional industries and occupations. So you'll see a lot in healthcare and just other areas that you may not traditionally think of when you think of apprenticeship. So I guess to make sure that we have time to answer any questions that you all have, are there any other questions that you might have for either Cleveland or for me?
So this is Reginald. I have one more question I'd like to ask you. This is very specific. One of the issues with becoming a certified teacher for undergraduates in this state is that our undergraduates are required to take the Praxis academic core skills, writing, reading, and math. And that usually is what keeps especially a lot of students in my college from getting where they need to go. Does this program allow them to go around that? Because they can pass the licensure tests that are subject, but it's that core that is the issue because it's so misaligned, because that's Common Core, and South Carolina is not a Common Core state. So how does that reconcile being an easier path for students in that regard?
It doesn't. Like I said before, registered apprenticeship is not in any way an avenue to supersede any certification requirements. What it does, it allows you to customize your related instruction to that theoretical practice for that practical application to try to enhance those skills. So in essence, we would be looking at coupling more detailed practical application with the theory to see if that can change that pedagogy and that thought process, so they will be better prepared at the end of their degree program. It's per se changing the education delivery or the system to meet the needs of the new age learners. Sharing an old time-proven process of apprenticeship to refine the educational delivery. I always think about, if you had to have a surgery, a cardiac surgery, which doctor would you want? Somebody that spent 6 months in a residency or 18 months. And that's what we offer when we just allow students to be in a student teaching for one semester after 3.5 years of academics. So if we allow them to be in a more practical environment a bit longer, they will see examples and scenarios that could change their lens from a binary, more two-dimensional to three-dimensional thought process. And hopefully those results will show when it comes time for those certification examinations.
And I'll just add to that, one thing that we have seen in the apprenticeship outlines for education, since that it has been an issue for some folks, is a greater focus on preparation for the praxis. So there might be additional time spent on that than you would traditionally see. So
Stephanie, when you say a collaboration might look like on the college end, are you referencing with the any particular school district or collaboration between colleges?
Thanks for asking. And thank you for explaining all of this to us. This is new to me in many ways. What I'm really looking for is like, how are colleges going to get involved in this process to help support students who want to take this route? Or is there an opportunity for colleges to incorporate this into their program of study or something like that, that are offering this, that are offering like traditional teacher prep to our students, whether it's through like an MAT or through bachelor's?
Well, if your college wanted to sponsor the program,
Okay.
then you would be the sponsor of record, and your collaboration would be with academic providers, whether it be local schools, private schools, school districts, and they would support your effort. Excuse me. Sorry. It would support your effort in the manner of providing the on-the-job training. Now, there are cases, and in many cases, if the school district thought it would like to register the program and serve as a sponsor for its IAs with undergraduate degrees or 2-year degrees, it could then connect with you as a related instruction provider. And you would just serve as the academic provider, and the sponsor would have the oversight of the on-the-job training and ensuring that their individual apprentice had access to that 2-year academic program or the related instruction attached to your alternate pathway, their alternate pathway to certification. So you could collaborate as the related instruction provider or serve as the sponsor. In either case, you're going to have a relationship with either the school or school district. After the symposium in Greenville, I was able to work with Kershaw County School District, and we draft a apprenticeship program for them to be the sponsor for that very situation. They will partner up with colleges for their associate degree holders, provide the supervised on-the-job training, and then connect with them to outsource the related instruction. So they're serving as a sponsor and have their related instruction providers, versus the college serving as the sponsor and having the school district or school serve as the participating employer.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
I'm James from the South Carolina Department of Education, and I was wondering if you had any literature that people could basically look at the requirements of doing the registered apprenticeship, and that they could look at their programs and see how those might fit together.
Let me see. Okay, if I could. This is the apprenticeship.gov website, and all of our literature about registered apprenticeship, about creating opportunities for applied learning, connecting with employers, start a program, is all here, and it's referenced off what your individual needs are, whether you're a career seeker looking to be an apprentice, an employer, or education provider. And should you need, I'll put my email in the chat and I can walk you through this website so it'll be easier to share with others.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. I believe there was another hand up that I missed for a question.
Lisa, was that you? Do you still have a question?
I do. I didn't know if I didn't know if I was raising my hand or not, quite honestly, Jackie. But yeah, my question is this. So I'm at Coker University, and that's of course in Darlington County. As far as a first point of contact, do you prefer me reach out to Brittany? Do I?
Brittany does work for Apprenticeship Carolina, yes, and she definitely could be your initial point of contact. And anything, I want to say that they have the K through 12 teacher work process schedule, which is the on-the-job training that you could couple your related instruction with, but I'll make sure she has it because I'll get it the bulletin after this call. So she'll be ready to assist.
Well, and I guess my second part of that is this, but definitely yes with the K through 12 apprenticeship program. But I'm going to meet with the Dean of Nursing and Dean of Business here at Coker tomorrow, and I want to make sure that they know about this because we have internships going on in those areas. So do they just reach out separately or
it could be a collaboration.
Okay.
A sponsor can develop a program as robust initially, or it can start in one area, one siloed area, and then extend out. We do modify registered programs by the same vessel reaching out to your Apprenticeship Carolina consultant. They'll get you a draft of a set of on-the-job training steps and a work process schedule, and you could couple your related instruction outline for any of the occupations that we deemed apprenticeable. Amanda was correct. We started in the trades in about 1937.
Okay,
but ultimately, ma'am?
I'm sorry.
We started in the trades at about 1937 to try to regulate the amount of apprentices that will be working under one qualified journey worker to keep people safe. In construction, if you have a lot of novice running around, you could have a lot of accidents. So as a country, we needed to regulate what was deemed acceptable practices for apprenticeship, especially in construction. But we learned that apprenticeship is applicable, especially in military services, because all of our industries in the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marine, Coast Guard, Space Force, we learn our occupations via the apprenticeship model. And so that's exactly how we train and how we are able to maintain our standing with only 3% of the country serving in the military to protect this great nation, is that we learn via that model. And we, as the Department of Labor, seeks to replicate that model across all industries that can be deemed apprenticeable. But again, not to be in competition with any certification bodies. We find it extremely difficult in cosmetology and barbering because there's no wage component. Most of those individuals are contract employees, so you can't utilize an increasing wage on an incremental step to reward each individual apprentice for their skill attainment.
Mark, I did want to mention, I saw your question about the federal and state funds to support grant applications. I can't speak specifically to the Grow Your Own grants, but I will say that Apprenticeship Carolina has received millions of dollars in federal DOL Education and Training Administration grants to help support primarily the education costs that are associated with registered apprenticeship programs, targeting those high need areas. We were fortunate enough to also receive a little bit of state funding this year. I guess a little bit is a relative term. But our hope is to be able to secure additional federal and state grant funding moving forward to continue to help support the education, because a lot of what we found several years back was that companies wanted to do this. There was a huge need, but the question always came up as to who's going to support the training costs. The individual knows they need to go through it. They want to go through it. The company needs individuals to go through it. But there was always the cost of the training that became a barrier. So being able to address that has been very helpful in addressing the workforce needs. So we will continue to seek out funds and try to make those available as much as possible. So.
And I'm not sure if any of you have relationships with private schools, but private employers do qualify for a $1,000 state tax credit per year to help offset the training costs. So some of our private employers that have multiple year programs As long as their apprentice is registered 7 months of that taxable season, they're eligible to claim a $1,000 state tax credit for up to 4 years. And again, there is all designed to try to ensure that the apprentices maintain that earn while you learn model and are not left with a bunch of debt after the end. We have, back to the trades, we have young men and women that go into electrician programs for 4 years and average $82,000 when they get out with no student loan debt. We have a model of youth apprenticeship down in Charleston where we've had diesel engine technicians buying homes that work with Cummins Diesel after a 2-year program at the age of 21. We had an automotive technician, I think about 22 years old, has his own automotive company just by utilizing the apprenticeship model. There are numerous success stories. Those that just, come to mind after the last couple of years, where individuals are living full lives in their early 20s based off being a part of a youth apprenticeship. So there's something to say about the earn while you learn model, to where you can actually finish and have a living sustainable wage. In the Columbia College model, we've had individuals that have served as IAs for multiple years. And then once they have their master's degree and they finish, they see a 200, 300% raise just for 2 years of their time and their commitment to learn via the apprenticeship model.
Well, Jackie, I don't know how we're doing on time, but we certainly appreciate the opportunity. No, you're muted, Jackie. I'm sorry.
Absolutely. Thank you, Amanda. Our group here, as you can tell, is not usually a quiet group. So please do feel free to ask your questions. And if you have if they have satisfied your need for knowledge in this area, that's great too. Just one little note, as you consider whether or not you are going to move forward with apprenticeships, please let us know at the State Department as well, and we can help support you as best we can as you move forward with that. That would be really helpful for us as well. It does seem like a great opportunity and partnering opportunity. So we appreciate you all being here. Before we let them go, are there any other questions that you all have for Amanda or Cleveland? Let's see. Yep, both undergraduate and graduate programs. Yes, very good.
Yes.
Trying to work on my wait time.
Well, again, we just appreciate the ability to be with you all this morning. I will share with you, Jackie, that consultant map so that you all will have your local contact from Apprenticeship Carolina to reach out to. I understand that this is probably very new for a lot of you. And so as you have questions, as you come up with things, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. We're happy to help in any way that we can.
Thank you so much to both of you. I think we've all learned a lot. So we appreciate your time and you making the time to make appearance with us today and answer our questions. We really very much appreciate
thank you.
that.
Thank you for the invite.
Yes, we appreciate it.
Great. Well, thanks so much. As always, James and I will stick around a little bit in case you have extra questions. But otherwise, thank you all for being with us today. And thank you again to Cleveland and Amanda.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm gonna talk to y'all friends here.
Okay,
I didn't let your
hold on a
friend Clay
second.
come
Hold
to
on a
me.
second, Dr. Fernandez. Would you like me
Oh.
to stop the recording?
Yeah,
meeting?
yeah, you bet. No, I'm not gonna say. Hey,